Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for coming to the live stream. We have 26 people right now at the moment. Hello, this is Shogo. Please let me know if you can see and hear us properly. Okay, I'm going to be checking out my own phone too. We have actually been receiving so many comments already. Thank you so much, everyone. Okay, sounds and looks good. Thank you so much. Perfect. Sensei is right next to me right now, so once everything looks good, I will ask him to come to the live stream as well. Everything looks and sounds great. Perfect. Maybe echoing a little bit. I wasn't able to bring my microphone all the way over from Kyoto to Ibaraki Prefecture here where I'm right now. So, hi Shogo, hello. I hope you and your family are well. Yes, we are all doing well. Thank you so much. No, it's fine, Shogo. Thank you so much. Perfect. Then I think we can get started. よろしいですか？では、お願いいたします。ちょっと、このカメラの方があんまり広角ではないのでなんですけども、座りいただいて、もうちょっと明るくいたしましょうか。こんな形で、確かちょっと端の方に立ります。Okay, so everyone, this is Seki Sensei. 本日もよろしくお願いいたします。
こんにちは。
初生配信ということで、ちょっと通訳するのちょっと緊張してるんですけれども、ありがとうございます。So then everyone, if you have any questions for Seki Sensei, I'd love to be your interpreter and ask the questions for you, by the way. Thank you so much for watching all of our videos, by the way. We're almost going to be getting 37,000 subscribers, so that is amazing. Really, really close to half of our goal, actually. So, all right. Do you use aluminum iaito for partner exercises in your dojo? That's a very good question, Brent. Thank you very much. 先生、よくある質問なんですけども、相合いで型をされる場合に使ってらっしゃる刀は、あれはイヤイトです。何でできている刀ですかっていうのをよく聞かれるんですけども。
あれは硬質亜鉛合金か。
亜鉛合金。
硬質ですね。はいはいはい。
硬質ちょっと固めっていうことですね。
そうですね。
So it is the katana that we use in Asayama Ichiden Ryu for the iai training when we do with two people is the iaito, which is basically made from the zinc alloy. But we use a little bit of a special one that's a little bit harder than the regular ones. Echo is still there, but it's manageable. Thank you so much. Hello, Shogo. It's 4 a.m. here. 朝4時の方いらっしゃるみたいな。すごい。
お疲れ様です。
お疲れ様です。Why are you awake?
そう。
いらっしゃいますね。こんにちは。イギリス3時33分ですね。今、ヨーロッパが早朝なんですよ。実はこの時間帯にやると。昨日の夜にできてればヨーロッパもアメリカもまだ良かったんですけれども、ちょっとまだこちらの設定上できなかったので。So yeah, we were sorry. I was planning on doing this live stream yesterday night in Japan time, which was supposed to be right after the training that we did on Monday. I actually stayed in Ibaraki for a night. But because it was our first live stream, this account, Let's Ask Seki Sensei, need to be verified, need to be like checked by YouTube if we're a proper channel or not. It took 24 hours to do that. So that's the reason why we're doing this at a really strange time. And pretty sure it's really inconvenient for people, especially living in Europe, by the way. But still, thank you very much for joining us. Hello, Shogo. Hello, Seki Sensei. I love this channel and this Ryuha. このチャンネルとこのRyuhaが大好きですって言ってくださった方が。あとこちらですね。これもものすごくよく聞かれます。このアレクサンダーさんですね。が、Has Seki Sensei trained in Naginata Jutsu? Thank you so much for your question. ナギナタは修行されたことがありますかっていう。
ちゃんとしたことはないです。
多少。
なんとなく買って、練習したり。なぎなたの流派の先生とか、
動画でも
友達なので、ちょっとね、っていうぐらいです。
北進一刀流の。
そうです、そうです。で、あそこはなぎなたがちょっとだけあるっていうね。
なるほど。
あと、戸田羽生交流なぎなた術の宗家もお付き合いがあるので。
なるほど。So, Seki Sensei has not fully trained in Naginata skills before, but he has friends and acquaintances who are masters of the Naginata. So, whenever he goes to their dojo, for example, would train a little bit of it. So, he knows some skills, but he's not fully trained in it. 動画の時にあれがかかってるのをご覧になられて、なぎなたもされるんですかっていう質問が結構来ていて、あれはもう置いてらっしゃるんですか？
置いてて、
はい。
多少ね、自分なりに考えたりするときに使ったりしますね。
なるほど、こういう場合の想定っていうことで。
そうですよね。
なるほど。
なぎなたの人がどんなことしてくるだろうとかね。なんとなく見ててね。
So it's actually, if you watch our videos, I'm pretty sure you've seen there's some wooden naginata on our wall actually, but we don't train naginata unfortunately in our Ryuha. By the way, he uses it just to sometimes check the skills. For example, maybe just imagine what a person using naginata would do to a person fighting with this katana. Yeah, so we don't actually have any skill sets though. Thank you so much. Where did I leave off? Bella L. Hi Shogo, hello. Sunshine, thank you so much. Hello, Sensei. How are you today? 今日はいかがですかって How are you という。
いかがですか？
いかがですか？お元気ですかっていう。
はい、元気です。今日は晴れてます。
そうですね。Yesterday was a really rainy day actually, but today is very, very sunny, completely blue sky, by the way. はい。Okay, so the next question then. Seki Sensei, for the purposes of at-home training for the basic katas, what are some of the key points that isn't easily transcribable through visual means that a beginner should look out for? That is an amazing question, by the way. And I need to apologize that it takes a really long time for us to answer the questions because I need to interpretation and I also need to read the comments too. So please give us a little bit of time. Yeah, we'll probably be doing this for just a little bit over 30 minutes, by the way, the live stream itself. So thank you so much. ではですね、この質問多分始まる前にも聞いてくださった方だったんですけれども、基本バトノートの5本ですね。紙なし割りからの。で、あれが、初心者がパッと見ただけでは気づけないだろうけれども、すごくここ本当は大事ですっていうポイントはどこがありますかっていう質問を聞いてくださってます。おそらくご自宅でやってくださってるんだと思うんですけれども。
カニバサミですね。
カニバサミが。
もっと厳密に言うと、カニバサミができるコンディションで声口を持ってる。
昨日も説明してくださってたところですね、お稽古で。なるほど。
それね、ものがあった方が分かりやすい。
そうですね。もし、ちょっとお手すいません。お手数をおかけいたします。So, he was just explaining about the sheathing and how to control the entrance of the scabbard, which is very important. He's going to be bringing us his katana to explain to us so he can actually show us, which is a lot easier to understand, obviously. Hold on, let me just... 小さいの。ありがとうございます。He brought us a shorter wakizashi probably to make it easier to understand for us.
これね、見えないか。
ましょうか。掴むときにその人差し指と親指が自由に動くようになっていなければいけない。
こういうふうにね。こういうふうに。
そこを持って。
これ挟むでしょ。
はい。
で、こう来ると刀って薄くなるんですよ。
そうですよね。
薄くなったとこが収めどころ。
それをも指先の感覚で分かるようにするために。
分かるでしょ。はい。この状態、金ばさみができるベストの状態っていうのが、声口の角に中指のセンターラインを半掛けするんです、こういうふうに。そうすると、こういうふうにできるんですね。こういうふうに。
こういう持ち方に。
と、これが自由になると。で、この半掛けね、よりも深いと、今度はバットの音の時に、ここ引っ掛けちゃうんですね、短いとこ。
手を切ってしまう。そうですね。
で、これよりも、浅いと、こうなるでしょ。これがやりづらい。
できない。
手の感覚でどうしても引くんですよ、人って。これが浅いと今度は声口引っ掛けて割っちゃう。
なるほど。
ここがギリギリベストなんですね。ですから、
We're talking about the sheathing, by the way, the important points.
これちょっと脇差しでね、分かりづらいんですけど。
So 脇差し is a little bit short, but.
ここね、 4子、
はい。
4子が入るようにしかできてないんですよ、大刀って。縦にね。
そうですよね。
だから、つばに親指、指かけてな、
はい
かけてね、ただ声口を切っただけでは、繰り方の上にここが乗っかってる状態なんですよ。
ああ、そうですね。
で、こ
確かに。
れが声口切った後、抜刀の前に乗らないとこまでこう盗んでいくんですよ。さっき
指を。
の中指半掛けになるとこまで。
ああ、なるほど。
そこまで来たら、これができてベストなんですよ。この感覚がまず最初大事なんです。
ないといけないんです
うん
ね。
ここがでダメでやってても上達しないんです。体さばきだけやっててもね。そう、ここの損得がわからないと。ね、声口をただ切っただけじゃなくて、
はい。
中指半掛けまでスーッとこういうふうに
middle
ここま
finger
で
when you pull a katana out. You don't keep your fingers here, but you have to bring out your fingers a little bit until your middle finger comes to the entrance.
そうする
This is
と
really important.
そうするとこうなるんで。
And then you'll be able to put your index finger and thumb into the groove of the
で
katana.
刀が薄くなった瞬間に
And when it starts to get thin, it comes out.
はい、
Yeah. なるほ
こ
ど。
ういう感じ。
ああ、なるほど。I hope you are able to understand. Basically, it's really important that you don't start drawing katana from where you first grab onto the scabbard. You need to further bring your fingers closer to the entrance so you can have your index finger and thumb free. Otherwise, you won't be able to know the exact timing when the tip of your sword will be released from the scabbard. And number two, you won't be able to have full control over your scabbard because you're not having a good grip over it. So that is something that we did not explain in the video of the drawing and sheathing basics, but it's really important. Thank you very much. ありがとうございます。はい、では。これもよく聞かれますね。歴史的な質問。This next question then, history question. Are there several different branches of his school with different masters? 浅山一伝流っていう名前で他の流派だったり他の団体さんもあるように思うんですけれども、その分派なのかどういった関係性ですかという質問ですね。
それは
体術の方をよく。Now, a lot of people have been asking us about Asayama Ichiden Ryu Taijutsu and if we're related to them or not. Yeah, we often get that question. I love to ask it.
系譜がね、全然違うんですよ。
なるほど、なるほど。
で、私の方は、流祖が浅山一伝斎重明という人ですね。はい。で、江戸時代に入って、森戸家が、群馬県の館林ですね。館林藩のそこの家老職の森戸三太夫友常という人が、流儀の宗家、8代目にあたりますね。はい。でそこから養子縁組とかがセットになってね、家督相続がセットになって、要するに門弟の一番優秀な人を養子縁組するという形で森戸家が長く8代目から伝えてましてね。で、その流れが私に至っていると。
なるほど。
はい。で、いわゆるその一伝流体術って言われる人たちは、もともとの巻物の構成とか全然違うんです。
ああ、そうなんですね。
あちらは確かね、もともとは天地人って3巻に分かれてる。で、流祖が浅山一伝和則っていう人なんですね。
ああ、なるほど。
一尊って書いて、和則。
全然お名前も全く違います。
そう。それで会津藩の田中家に、発端があるっていう説なんですね。
ああ、なるほど。
ですからこっちは森戸宗家の流れが来てて、剣と居合が中心。で、一伝流体術の方たちは、天と人かが出現してて、地の巻だけの柔らの部分と棒みたいなものを伝えてるっていう。ですからもうあそこまで長い歴史違いますし、流祖も 名前も違ってるでしょ。で、結局やってることも含めて、もうああいうのをね、こういう関係をね、同盟異流っていうんです。もう要は関係ないです。
なるほど。わかりました。
同じ名前で全く他流っていうぐらい違うっていう。だからあちらはあちら、こちらはこちらっていうだけのことですね。
はい、なるほど。So he was explaining that basically, to make a long story short, the Ryuha, there are different Ryuha with the same name, Asayama Ichiden Ryu, but we are completely different. He was explaining to us specifically about how we're different. First of all, the founder just happened to have the same Asayama Ichiden last name, but their first names were completely different. Their descendants who carried on the Ryuha of the Asayama Ichiden Ryu, Taijutsu, for example, and us, Asayama Ichiden Ryu, grew up in very different prefectures, for example. It was carried on in completely different places in Japan. So we just simply see it as completely different Ryuha. So the things that they teach, for example, in their Ryuha and things that we teach in our Ryuha, like the Katana, Taijutsu, and such, are completely different. So we have nothing in common, actually. Okay, thank you very much. ありがとうございます、先生。どういたしましょう。次以降すみません。ワンフレーズずつ通訳いたしましょう。もしあれでしたら。
ごめんなさい。
いや、すみません。いや、今日初めてですね。私ももうどういうやり方が一番いいかなっていうふうに思いながらすみません。Okay, Philip, thank you very much. Hi, Shogo and Seki Sensei. I just wanted to say thank you very much for teaching a weapons art with a direct lineage. As far as I know, no similar European arts exist. Thank you so much. ヨーロッパで浅山一伝流ほど長く歴史があってちゃんと受け継がれてきた流派というかそういうものがないので、それを学べるこういう場所を作ってくださって本当にありがとうございます。ご意見でございますね。はい。ありがとうございます。はい。これは私のチャンネルの方でメンバーシップに入ってくださってる方で、多分最初にメンバーシップになってくださった方なんですけど、Stefan, thank you so much for your question. Kendo question for Seki Sensei. Kendo の質問です。We are often told to run through after a strike, yes. But I have also seen doing 体当たり and turning away is better. What is his opinion?面白い質問ですね。彼は居合と剣道を結構長くやってる方で、アメリカの方なんですけれども、奥様が日本人の方で、岐阜県の方なんですけども、剣道を結構長くやられて、剣道の質問ですと、よく打った後は走り抜けろっていうふうに教わるんですけれども、場合によっては、バーンと体当たりをしたり、押したり、ついたりとか、回るっていうこともあると思うんですけども、実際どれが一番いいんでしょうかっていう、その次の攻撃のことを考えるとっていう質問ですね。
それはね、状況にもよりますね。
That would be up to the situation. Stefan will really answer your question.
はい。言ってもね、どれが一番いいっていうよりは、打った後、相手に油断なく、ある程度間合い取ってね、油断なく構えるっていう方が大事だと思います。次のことを考える。
なるほど。どう抜けて、どう避けたとしても、とにかく構えられてるかどうか。
その走り抜けるっていうのは、一つの練習方法に近いんですね。足腰を使うっていうかとね。
なるほど。
だから走り抜けるのはそれはそれでいいんだけども、スーッと行ってふっと相手に振り返ってね、いわゆる二足一刀ぐらいのところで振り返ってスッとまた入ってってっていうのが大事で、いつまでも走ってるのも変だし。
そうですね。
で相手が打ってって全く避けないとか言った時にはダンともいいですしね。そういうことだと思いますよ。
なるほど。ちょっと書いてある。さっき向けたままになってました。So Seki Sensei's answer basically was the more important point is not about how you pass by your opponent. It's not about running through him. It's not about taiatari. The most important thing is if you'll be able to come back to the basic stance quickly. If you run through, if you hit him, if you turn around him, it doesn't matter what you do. What's more important is that if you are capable of coming back to the fighting position quickly. So running through, after hitting is a kind of training basically. And you need to run through him, flip your body, of course, turn around and be able to come back to the fighting position. And so basically you need to be able to train everything. What's more important is being able to come to the fighting position is the most important point. So that was his answer. Thank you very much, Stefan. すごいですね。スパチャもたくさんいただいていて。Thank you so much for all of your super chats too. あ、もうすごい全然思いついてないですね、コメントが。Thank you so much. サーモンのお茶漬けさん。じゃあ、Thank you very much. ドルなのでおそらくアメリカの方だと思うんですけど。Thank you so much for your super chat, probably. Thank you. Then I will be going back up later to the chats, but let me take a look at the super chats first, though. Haywood Jablomi? I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly. I'm very sorry. Opinion about Jinnenkan Kenjutsu and Manaka Sensei. Jinnenkan Kenjutsu ってことですか。
いや、
Jinnenkan
向こう
Kenjutsu。
の、
Manaka 先生。
向こうじゃ、海外の方でしょ。
Manaka 先生。もうご存知ないですか。
真中先生、人年間
はい。
武人館じゃなくて
武人館には真中先生って方いらっしゃるんですか。
おられると思いますけどね。
Ah, so first of all, we are not too familiar about Jinnenkan, by the way. If the Manaka sensei, by Manaka's name, by the way, one person that Seki Sensei is familiar with is the person in Bujinkan?
うん。
Bujinkan?
目はいると思う。
Bujinkan has Manaka sensei, but maybe it's a different Manaka. It's a last name, that many families would have. So, yeah, we are not too familiar with Jinenkan, unfortunately. Sorry about that. And Razor Ramen, thank you very much for a super chat too. Thank you, Sensei, for doing this chat. 生配信していただいてありがとうございますということですね。My question is, how often do you practice with Shinken with the unique techniques that you practice versus in Yaito? Thank you. これ面白い質問ですね。真剣を使って、浅山一天流の技を練習される機会っていうのはどのぐらいありますかっていう質問なんですけども。
ほとんどないです。
Yes, it would be very, very rare to train our skills with the real katana because we always need someone else to partner up with us to do the training. ほとんどということはあったこともあったんですか。
一人でするということですよね。
なるほど、動きを。
ただ一伝流の居合っていうのは剣術と同じで、
はい、
相手を置いてやるってことが
前
提なので、ですからね、
はい、
刃のついた真剣ね、人に向けるわけにいかないですし、実際人体にこうね、当てたりいろいろあるのでね、はい、
本当に切れてしまいますね。
本当に切れちゃうんで、はい、
なるほど。
であるとしたらいわゆる一人稽古ですよね。丁寧にというところで。
実際に真剣にやった時の緊張感というか体験するためにってことですかね。なるほど。So, first of all, 99% of the time we will not train with the real katana, by the way. Of course, again, Asayama Ichiden Ryu's Iai kata, Kenjutsu kata, we always have to have two people in order to train it. We are not a single person kata Ryuha. So if we actually have someone in front of us, if we actually use a real sword, it's very, very dangerous. We're training our skills, of course, to carrying it on, to train our minds and bodies and souls and such. So we're not trying to hurt ourselves, right? Yeah. So the only opportunity that we very rarely use a real katana to do the training is when we want to check the skills on our own. We never have someone else in front of us when we use a shinken. But when we use a real katana, though, we'll be able to kind of feel the, what should I say? The seriousness, it will be a completely different feeling to hold on to a real katana, right? So that was his answer. Thank you very much. ちょっと戻っていきたいと思います。Thank you so much for all of your comments. Okay. Hello, Seki Sensei. Thank you for taking the time to answer our questions. Thank you very much. 時間を取ってくださってありがとうございますということですね。皆さんたくさんありがとう言ってくださってます。I'm awake because you two warned me about this live stream and I really enjoyed the videos and chatting you live is worth losing some sleep. そうですか。Thank you very much. めちゃめちゃ深夜まで、早朝まで起きてるんですけれども、もうこのためだったらもう何時間でも起きておきますっていうふうに言ってくださってます。面白い。Thank you so much. Okay. Hey, Shogo, is there reputable teachers on America that you know of? Oh, you mean like instructors in the States that are teaching Budo, maybe? Let me ask this sensei too. アメリカで武道、何でも武道は何でもおそらくいいと思うんですけれども、何か武道を教えてらっしゃる知り合いの先生はいらっしゃいますかっていう。
アメリカおりません。
No, he doesn't know any instructors in the States. I'm unfortunately, I don't know any instructors in the States either. Mhm. Okay, thank you so much. Love the channel. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much. Okay. I was wondering if the draw cut could have different forms, like when an upward or horizontal cut is needed. Yes, on the cutting, drawing, and sheathing techniques, we actually have 5 different basic techniques, and there is, yep, horizontal and upward cutting techniques as well, by the way. We introduced it in our previous videos. Okay. What's the ideal size for a wakizashi if I want to train in it? That's a very good question. 脇差しの規定の長さは浅山一伝流の中でありますかという質問ですね。
脇差しはないですね。
でもまあ稽古をする上でこういったところは押さえておいた方がいいっていうところはありますか？
基本まあ一尺八寸です、刃渡りはね。
なるほど、なるほど。So basically, the length should be 1.8 shaku. 1.8 shaku. One shaku is again 30.3 centimeters. And so yeah, 0.0 means that it's 1/10 of that size. So 1.8 shaku will be the basic size. But there aren't that many strict regulations for the wakizashi though. でも大東はもう少しいろいろと決まり事がございますよね。
大東も決まり事は、
はい、
長さとか
長さであったりとか、
それは決まり事っていうよりも、
はい、
その人の上寸よりも長いものを使えっていうことですね。じゃ
ない
と、技がね、体さばきとか、
はい、
その手をね、右手を柔らかくとかいうのが身につかない。
そうですね。簡単に抜けてしまいますもんね。
そうそうそう。
なるほど。
どうぞどうぞ。
So for the longer katana, the uchi katana, in our Ryuha, we are taught that we should use a katana that's longer than the standard length that, like the charts that exist. If you're at this height, you should use this long katana, for example, and so on and so forth. We usually use a longer one. So for example, I am 173 centimeters, my height, by the way. So I should be using a 2.44 shaku or 2.45 maybe, but I use 2.6 in Asayama Ichiden Ryu. And that depends, of course, on that person's height. If you use a katana that's too short, you can really easily draw a katana with one hand, for example. And that's not any good for your training. So that's the reason why we try to use the longer one. すいません、話の途中で。
いえいえ、大丈夫です。
よろしいですか？はい。
なんか言っちゃいました。
Well, I was translating. He forgot what he was trying to say. So I'll just move on to more questions. So I would like to read as many questions as possible. So, okay, thank you so much. How did samurai react and fought against enemies with shields? Thank you very much, Angel. Thank you very much for your question. 盾を持っている敵に対しては、侍はどのように戦っていましたかという質問でございますね。盾を持っていた敵っていう、そもそも盾があるのかどうかっていうところからももちろんお話ししていただけたらと思うんですけど、多分そのね、英語でいうこういうシールドっていうものと、また日本の
盾がね、どれくらいの大きさのものかってことになってくるけど、戦える、動いて戦えるサイズっていうことなんでしょうね。
そうかもしれないですね。
盾を持っている人間にどう戦うかというよりは、盾を持ってる人がどう戦うかだと思うんですよね。
なるほど。
そう。盾持ってる人っていうのは相手が攻撃してきますよね。その攻撃に合わせて盾を打たせるようにする。
そうですよね。必ずそのために持ってますよね。
そう。だからそっち側の話なんじゃないですかね。
なるほど、なるほど。そうですよね。So it really does depend on what kind of shield you're using, because historically on the time period, the samurai has actually used shields that are actually has a high mobility that you can carry around to fight. Is almost zero or very, very rare in history. First of all, it hasn't been carried on in Japan for a long time. Again, that's because in Japan historically, samurai used weapons that had to use with two hands, like the bow and arrow, spears, and such. So historically, we hardly used shields in the first place. And if there were any shields like you can use with one hand if you were actually fighting on the battlefield with it, Seki Sensei's answer was it's very easy because there aren't any fixed skills to, first of all, that's been carried on in our Ryuha to fight against people who have shields. But if he were to think of something, it would definitely be the fact that that person has a shield. Then that person will obviously try to use the shield to block, right? So if you know that that person is going to be using his shield to block, there's some obvious things that you can do with your techniques to, for example, do a feint attack and try and do counterattack him in some other way. Yeah, he said that he would probably think about that if he actually encounters someone with a small shield in his hand.
あとあれですね、
はい
盾を使うっていうのは、
はい。
もう片方に剣を持ったりするわけですけどね。
片手で。
だから結果ね、
はい
そう長いものを使えないはずなんですよ。
そうですね。確かに確かに。
むしろ普通よりも短いものになってくると思うので、それよりも長いものを持ってれば、その前の外から攻撃できるんでいいんじゃないですかね。
確かにそういうことになりますよね。He was also explaining that a person with a shield would obviously have to use only one hand to swing a katana. So in that case, they would probably have to use something very short like a wakizashi. Yeah. So that's something that, of course, that would be a big benefit for someone who is using a longer katana with both hands. Okay, thank you so much. That's a really good question. まあでも31分なので、これ最後にしましょうかね。ちょっとこんなにいっぱい質問が。
すごいです
ね。すごいですよ。もうすんごい来てるんですけど、質問が。Oh my gosh, everyone, thank you so much for all of your comments. But we actually have to do a lot of filming after this. So, unfortunately, we won't be able to read all of your comments. Oh, board gamer, by the way, I'm sorry. Yes, I did skip your comment, didn't I? What is Seki Sensei's go-to weapon? Clearly he has a lot and knows how to use a lot, but what's your go-to? His go-to weapon is absolutely the tessen, the metal fans. He loves the tessen very much, so that's something that he carries all the time. And where did I leave off? I'm so sorry, guys, if I missed your comment. There's just so many comments coming, so wait. Oh, there it is. Robin Thompson, thank you so much. Can Seki Sensei tell us a story of a memorable training session from his time as a student? That's a really good question. これを一旦最後にしておきましょうね。今日はあんまり長く使いすぎてももう撮影の時間までやってしまうので。ですね、この質問がですね、まだ、先代に教えていただいて、教えられていて、弟子だった頃の、これは思い出に残っているお稽古だなっていうのがあればっていう質問でございます。これは思い出深いなっていう、こんな稽古したなっていうのが何かあればっていう。
それはね、環境を利用された時がすごくショックでしたね。
環境を利用された時。
そう。師匠にね、こう間合い詰められてね、スッとこう下がるという時があったわけですよ。で、その時にスーッと攻められて、急に師匠が剣線外して、スーッとこう前傾姿勢作ったんですね。で、それって切っていけるわけですよ。
そうですよね。
で、その瞬間に切ろうと思ってパッといったらば、ね、カツンって手応えがあって、同時に起き上がった師匠の刀が私のここにねピッと来て、でニタって笑うわけですよ。
なるほど。
それどういうことかっていうと、私のね腕くらいの太さの木の枝がここにあって、そこに自分の刀が引っかかった瞬間にこうやってやられたんですよ。わかります？つまりそのエリアに追い込まれてて、でわざと面切ってくるように仕向けられて、されっと思った瞬間にカツッと瞬間にひょいって、ここで止まっちゃってね。
全部もう見透かされていたっていうことですね。
戦い方知らんのって言われて、もう呆れ果てたっていうか、すごいなこの人はっていう。
すごい、またそれを野稽古の時に。
そう。
面白いお話です。Thank you so much for asking an amazing question, Robin. I was able to hear a really cool episode. So basically, Seki Sensei was explaining that he often trained with the predecessor, old Seki Sensei, often outside, actually, like in the mountains or at shrines and such, where the ground is all bumpy with stones and dirt. It might be raining, for example, and all that kind of stuff. He often trained outside. And there was a time when he was training with the predecessor, and he had the training swords, the really those soft ones, and they were fighting, and they were moving around in the fields, in the forest, and then there was a timing when his predecessor actually moved away his sword, and it was, of course, trying to make a timing to attack, right? So Seki Sensei thought, oh, there, I can go for his head. And when he lifted up his sword stopped. He couldn't swing. And then right at that moment, his sensei, Osaki Sensei, brought his katana up to his neck very quickly. So basically what happened is he was very, very nervous, right? He was only focused on his sensei, while his sensei, Osaki Sensei, was looking at all the environment, basically. And he lured him to a place where there was a branch right about the exact length where Seki Sensei's sword would hit. So everything was manipulated by his sensei, and he was surprised that he was looking at the environment around him so often, all the time, and everything that he did, moving him there, putting his sword away to the back so that Seki Sensei will attack him, and then attacking back very quickly with one hand, everything was calculated perfectly, and he was very shocked by this training. Thank you so much for the amazing question. Okay, then unfortunately we do have to do some filming today for this channel, of course. So we'll have to just take a look at the final super chats that everyone has been sending us. And that will be the end. すいません、スパチャだけ読んでもよろしいですか？
はい、どうぞ。
すいません。せっかく送ってくださっているので。Monica, thank you so much for always supporting us all the time. Thank you for this live Sensei and Shogo. I've trained in Aikido in the US. あ、本当ですか？私のチャンネルのメンバーにもなってくださってて。そうなんです。Do you believe this traditional Japanese training? I've trained Aikido in the US. なるほど。これもよく聞かれる質問ですね。
何です？
合気道。合気道をやっぱり本当の、伝統的な日本の武道だと思いますかという質問ですね。これはよく聞かれるんですよ。結局なんかやっぱりそのね、こういう動きの中でこげたりとかいうのもなんか海外とか特に合気道本当に使えるのかみたいな話によくなるんですけれども。
だから使える使えないの上での本物かどうかっていうこととかね。
でもそうですし、歴史的なところも、そうですね。合気道いかがお考えですか？
合気道の元が大東流ってことで、合気道そのものは現代武道ということでいいんだと思いますよ。
そうですよね。
で問題は大東流が古武道かどうかっていうところに問題があって、実はそこはそのね、研究者とかその界隈でいろいろ議論がなされているところっていうね。例えば古武道としてっていう振る舞いというかねが結構大統領は散見されるというか、親善の方向も考えずに四方八方に投げ飛ばすとかね、日本の古武道としてありえないだろうっていう見解とかも聞いたことがありますんで。
なるほど。
そうなんですね。はい。
So first of all, Aikido itself, he says that because there's a lot of people training in it, and there's of course plenty of skills that you can learn from Aikido. He says that first of all, Aikido should be, what should I say, admitted, as a modern Buddha, if that makes sense. It should be accepted, of course. But at the same time, though, if we're going to be talking about historically, is Aikido a traditional Japanese martial art? We definitely need to take a look at the origins of what Aikido is, and that would be the Daitoryu. Daitoryu is the origins of Aikido, how Aikido was born. And then, is Daitoryu actually a Kobudo? Now, there's a lot of question marks about this topic. There's a lot of researchers, professors studying about the Daitoryu, which is of course, the origin of Aikido. But for example, he has heard about information. He has seen people, for example, whenever they do a proper performance towards gods, for example, we do the dedication performances in Kobudo. But sometimes when you do that, though, you need to always focus on which way the shrine is facing. You would never throw your partner, for example, if you're going to be doing a performance in front of shrines, in front of the gods, you would never throw your partner towards the direction of where the shrine is, for example. That's a really important discipline that all Kobudo Ryuha should have. But sometimes they do that. That means you don't have the basic knowledge about the Kobudo rules and such, right? So there is a question mark there, but Aikido itself should be accepted as a modern Budo. ありがとうございます。で、またそうですね。Stephen, thank you. What countries would you like to travel and teach in? どの国で、教えたいですかっていう。この国でいつかAsayama Ichiden Ryuを教えれたらなっていうのがもしあったらっていう質問ですね。はい。この方が。
呼んでくださるなら どこでも行きます。
If you will invite us, we will go anywhere. そうですね、本当に。ありがとうございます。Michael's Lit Training Life, thank you so much for your super chat. Unfortunately, you retracted your message, so we can't see it, but thank you so much for the support. And Charles Fu, thank you so much. Does Asayama Ichiden Ryu do sparring? This will be the final question, everyone. Please do not send us any more super chats. We will not be able to answer them. Does Asayama Ichiden Ryu do sparring? スパーリングですね。袋したいですけども、やりますかっていう単純な質問でございます。
うちの、あれですね、強制はしないんですけど、やりたいっていう門下生は月1回その日を作ってます。
そうなんですね。So once a month we do the sparring. 袋しないですよね。
と白いやつね。
白いやつ、後ろの。As you can see in the back here, right over here, these are the really light, very soft katana that you can actually use for sparring. I did it in my channel, Let's Ask Shogo. Well, this is actually my channel too, but in Let's Ask Shogo, I did the sparring with Sensei. This is the fukurochinai. It's actually softer than the common shinai that you more.
Bamboo.
Bamboo. 竹ですね。Bamboo. It doesn't hurt at all. It doesn't hurt at all. 普通のしないとは違うんです。よく聞かれるんですけど、それも普通のしないとは全然。
普通のしないは4つ割りで袋がないから。あれはね、剣道の防具がしっかりないと怪我しますから。
痛いですよね。
そう、これは素肌で打っても怪我までしないっていう、江戸時代からある工夫のしないなんです。これはね。
So this type of shinai, bamboo swords, have existed from the Edo period too. Basically, there's a cover over the bamboo so it doesn't hurt when you hit hands. The common shinai that you use, for example, kendo and such, has the bamboo shown on the outside, right? So it's much harder. This is softer on the outside, so it doesn't hurt so much. We do the sparring once a month, but it's not something that is mandatory. If you don't want to take part in the sparring, you don't have to, because of course it is pretty scary. Yeah. First, you could put on the armor when we do the sparring in Ryuha too, but in often cases we don't. And of course, it is good training for us to train our courage, to train if we're actually be able to use the skills in a real fight. It's not a real fight, but it's, when you actually have someone, when you're doing free sparring, yeah, it's a completely different feeling from doing the kata. So we do the training once a month, but it's not mandatory though if you want to train in our Ryuha. Okay, then thank you so much for all of your questions, everyone. It's been 42 minutes, so we have to get going to our filming now. Thank you so much. We'll be filming until the very last train that I'll be going home to Kyoto. So thank you so much for joining. One last thing, by the way, guys. Only for those of you, I have not written this in the title. I'm not going to be saying this anywhere else until I make the video, but only for those of you who are here listening to this live stream and possibly watching the archive after this. Right now, 100 people are listening right now, but we are actually going to be starting online lessons from next month. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. オンラインレッスンを始めるということで、これちょっとタイトルでも何も言ってなかったんですけども、来てくださった方々限定に先にちょっとお伝えするということで、ちょっとお得感があればなと思いまして。So, thank you so much. We will be starting from next month online lessons, an hour a week per week, right after. We'll give you more. We're actually going to be filming a video right after this talking about that. So you'll be able to actually receive teachings from Seki Sensei. So that's going to be really exciting. I hope you can look forward to it. And thank you so much for listening to this. You guys are super lucky to get to know this earlier, because I think the official information will be coming out maybe in one or two more weeks. So hope you can look forward to it. You'll be able to learn EI skills from him. So thank you so much, guys. Okay, then it's finally time for us to say goodbye. 今ですね、103人来てくださってますね。100人以上来てくださってます。はい。ではですね、ありがとうございました。私の方もありがとうございます。Everyone, thank you so much for watching. Bye. Thanks so much.